Hi everybody, welcome to Cloud on Air, live webinars from Google Cloud. We're hosting webinars every Tuesday. My name is Priya Patel, and today we'll be talking about transforming your content management strategy with Box and G Suite. You can ask questions anytime on the platform, and we have Googlers on standby to answer them. So let's get started. My name is Priya Patel, and I'm the Group Product Marketing Manager at Box, focused on our partnerships and integrations. I'm excited to be joined shortly by John Lake, Vice President of Enterprise Applications from DocuSign, who's going to join us live for a Q&A to learn about how DocuSign is using both Box and G Suite today, as well as the Box for G Suite integration to be more productive. By way of agenda, today we're going to be covering, I know it's a mixed audience of folks who might be familiar with Box and folks who aren't as familiar, so I want to spend some time giving a brief introduction into Box. And then, of course, we want to give an overview of the Box for G Suite integration and provide a live demo so you can see it in action. And then we're going to bring John Lake up from DocuSign to do a customer spotlight Q&A, and we also want to make sure that we have time for audience questions as well. So starting with Box, I want to just kick this off by talking about the mission of Box. Over the past 13 years, we've heard from many companies like Nike, Coca-Cola, and GE, and they've all said a very similar thing, which is that they want to be more efficient, they want to be faster, but sometimes technology stands in the way. And so at Box, our mission is very simple: to power how the world works together. And we work with companies around the globe of every industry. As you can see here, even some of the most highly regulated industries like the public government, financial services companies, and companies in the healthcare space. We have 87,000 customers today, and we're really excited to be helping to drive digital transformation for all of these customers. Digital transformation is on every company's mind today. It's incredibly important to be as agile in an increasingly competitive, fast-paced business environment. And how we collaborate and manage our information is really at the core of digital transformation, because information touches every business process, runs through every employee at a company, and is incredibly critical to getting business done. But unfortunately, the way that our information is managed today is fragmented. And this is because of the way that content strategies have evolved in a very fragmented way over time. So starting kind of in the 90s, you had file shares, network drives, even physical media going to the post office to transmit content. And enterprise content management solutions such as Documentum and SharePoint and OpenText evolved to provide one central repository for your content that could be easily searched and indexed. But these were not built for the end user in mind, and because they weren't as easy to use, they never evolved beyond a few departmental use cases. And then with the rise in mobility and the need to be able to work on the go, consumer file sync and share tools that were very easy to use and intuitive, such as Dropbox and Microsoft OneDrive, cropped up as well to meet the new demands of the workforce. And then at the same time, application development became popular again, and you have a lot of companies building their own custom applications on platforms such as AWS and Microsoft Azure. And we've also seen a rise of line of business cloud applications such as Salesforce and Workday, new cloud tools that enhance collaboration such as Slack and Workplace by Facebook. And all of this means that your content is fragmented across all of these different systems and applications today. For those dialed in, I'd like you to just take a look at this slide and think about how many different applications you're using at your organization today, such as those listed here. And you're probably using multiple today. So what if you had one platform that worked for all of your content? That's cloud content management from Box. It's one platform born in the cloud that enables seamless and secure internal and external collaboration, provides a single source of truth for content across your best-of-breed applications because it integrates seamlessly across your applications. It automates business workflows across the extended enterprise, leverages advanced machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies from all the major vendors, including Google Cloud Platform, to help automate business workflows and provide security and compliance for every industry and geo without sacrificing simplicity. I'd like to give an overview of what the Box platform provides. At the core, you have the content capabilities, the ability to seamlessly collaborate internally and externally across teams, automate workflows, apply machine learning and intelligence to your content. But there's a lot more to that Box offers. Box has several native applications. I'll just touch upon a few listed here. Box Drive, which enables you to stream your Box files on your desktop to kind of imitate a network drive experience. So taking up very little space, but being able to easily access your files in a very familiar way. Box Relay, which provides workflow capabilities that are very end-user focused, very simple for the end user to set up to automate manual, repeatable workflows. Box Notes, which is a really easy way for teams to collaborate in real time when they're in meetings to kind of capture notes as well as action items. And Box Capture, which enables you to take photos on the go when you're at work. This is great for mobile field teams with all of those photos stored securely into Box versus on your personal device. Those are just some examples of Box apps. And as I mentioned, Box integrates seamlessly across a multitude of tools. We have over 1,400 cloud application integrations today. Of course, G Suite, which we're going to focus on today, but we also integrate with Office 365, messaging and collaboration tools such as Slack, Workplace by Facebook, line of business applications such as Salesforce and ServiceNow, as well as e-signature solutions such as DocuSign and Adobe Sign. We're excited to have John join us later on to talk a bit more about what DocuSign does, as well as workflow and business process management tools such as Nintex and Pega. And then Box has robust APIs and SDKs that enable companies to build on the Box platform with Box as the content layer, powering applications such as client portals when you have lots of documents that you're sharing with between internal and external parties. This is a very popular use case for wealth management, mobile field support for companies that have a big employee base in the field, custom digital process. This is great for marketing teams to easily share content across internal and external parties. And then I really want to highlight the last piece, which is important, which is that all of this resides on a layer of security and compliance that makes this all safe to reside in the cloud. So Box, starting with Insights, Box has over 80 different reports that we offer to IT admins to get really granular reporting into how content is being shared and managed across the organization and outside. With Box Zones, we offer the ability for companies to select where their data is stored to comply with data residency requirements. We offer multiple layers of protection and DLP. Also, from a governance perspective, the ability to apply legal holds and retention policies, apply retention policies on your content, on your files, on your folders. And then through our KeySafe product, we allow customers to manage their own encryption keys for ultimate privacy. And so I hope this gives you a sense for what the Box platform provides, pretty robust capabilities beyond just kind of sharing and managing your content, but providing a variety of apps, integrations, and a platform offering to be able to do more with your content. So now I'd like to dive into the Box for G Suite integration, why we're all here today. A little bit of background about Box. Box and Google have been strategic partners for a few years now, and we're working together to transform the way organizations collaborate and do work in the cloud. And we're excited to be deepening our partnership through new integrations over time. So we launched our Hangouts chat integration earlier this year. doc sheets and slides, which is the focus of today's webinar, is publicly available today through beta and will be available generally to the public by end of this year. And I'll provide more details on how to get this integration. We're also going to be launching our Gmail integration by end of this year as well. We announced this and shared it at Google Next a couple months ago, and I'll also be providing more details on that integration later on. We also integrate with Google Cloud to provide, and the Google Cloud Platform to provide Google machine learning capabilities to Box customers to apply to content to automate business processes. So Box for G Suite, just by way of an overview of what this provides, we're bringing the rich experience of Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides directly into Box. And so this means that you can seamlessly leverage Google's familiar editing experience from within Box, so you can create new Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides while ensuring your content is organized and easily discoverable. You can collaborate in real time with Google's rich real-time editing capabilities in Google Sheets and Slides, being able to see edits that are happening in real time with all changes instantly saved into Box. And you can maintain enterprise-level standards, so ensuring your content meets the security, compliance, and governance requirements of any industry with our robust security infrastructure. So in terms of key features that I'll be highlighting in the demo shortly, you can easily create new doc sheets and slides with any edits that you make to these documents instantly saved into Box. And you can also see version history in Box like you can with any other document that's managed in Box. And you get the robust security that I mentioned, our governance capabilities to any files that are saved in Box. And John from DocuSign will be joining us shortly to provide a live customer viewpoint, but I wanted to highlight one of our other joint customers of the Box for G Suite integration, Indiana University. The G Suite is widely used across the education space, and they're using Box for G Suite across 100,000 faculty and students to share syllabi and to manage educational content. And so with that, I'm going to go into the demo. So this is what the Box experience looks like. Over here, you can easily search for any files. You can search by file type, by the date it's uploaded, by title. On the left, you have you can easily access your recent files. You can easily see notifications if someone left comments for you to look at a document. All your Box notes would be stored here. You could also favorite documents, so you can easily refer to them. And then over here you have, so I'm in a launch folder. I'm in marketing, and I often collaborate with my product manager counterparts in this folder. And so I can see everyone who's here. I can easily share the folder. I can, depending on who I want to share it with, I can edit permission levels, stop them from being able to edit, maybe just enabling them to view or preview or download. So Box offers pretty granular permission capabilities there. And I'm going to go ahead and go into a product spec document because my team, I know, has been editing. You can see here they're in the doc editing it right now, and I know that they left me some comments. So let me go ahead and go into this. I also want to highlight you can easily download, share. You can share documents in Slack and other integrations directly from here, but I'm going to go ahead and open this into Google Docs. So here's this product spec document. I just want to take a look at it. I know that the team left some comments. Okay, they're working on prioritizing some features. Oh, great, this functionality is something that I've been waiting for. That's great. Thanks for the update. Ooh, it's all in caps. And then you can resolve comments. And then if I make any edits, you can see here at the top, all changes are saved in Box. And so this is really important. When you enable this integration, any documents that are created from within Box. Any Google Docs, Sheets, or Slides documents are saved into Box, not in Google Drive. And so that's really important to enable that one central repository for all of your content. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this document, go back into Box. And I also want to share one other thing that Box provides, which is that you're able to actually take Office files. So this is an XLS file, an Excel file, and I actually choose to open this with Google Sheets. So what it's going to do is convert that Excel file into Google Sheets. I can make edits. Let's just say I want to change this. And all of those edits will be saved back to the original file format. So they'll be saved back into Excel. And so you can see here a new version was just uploaded. Would you like to refresh the page? And then here I'll be able to access the latest version. And there's been 27 versions saved. You can access all of your version history here. And then the last thing I want to share is that this is where you can actually create any new Google Docs, Slides, and Sheets files, as well as any Office files. So I just want to show what the experience looks like if I create a new document, new doc. Ooh. It'll immediately launch, and any edits I make in this document will be managed and saved securely back into Box. This is going a bit slow, but yeah, so you can see kind of how you can also create net new files as well. So with that, I'm going to go back into the slides. I also want to highlight that in addition to our integration with Docs, Sheets, and Slides, Box for Gmail will be coming soon by end of this year as well. And what this offers is the ability to access Box content from within Gmail. You can change permissions to any files. You can attach Box links directly into emails. And then when you get an email that has an attachment, you can save that attachment directly into Box and select which folder you'd like to save that to. So just making it super seamless to work in the tools that you're working in every day, but ensuring that all of your content is managed in Box. And so with that, I'd love to bring up John Lake from DocuSign for a customer Q&A. Great. John, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about DocuSign?
Sure.
And your role there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, DocuSign has been around since about 2003. I think we are largely known as an e-signature company, but we're also helping to fuel a lot of the digital transformation initiatives through our system of agreement, where we're helping customers prepare, of course, sign, but also act and manage on the content that drives their digital transactions.
Great. And can you tell me a little bit about the unique challenges that you face from an IT standpoint?
Yeah, DocuSign's a hyper-growth company. We have been growing rapidly, largely over the last 4 to 5 years, although we've been around for a little while. A tremendous influx of employees over the last couple years. I think a recent metric I saw internally was about 65% of our employees have been at DocuSign for 2 to 3 years. So very diverse, globally distributed workforce. We're in about, we have 15 offices distributed globally. So yeah, I think the challenges that come with hypergrowth are the challenges that we're facing.
Absolutely. And how does this, how do these trends kind of impact the IT tools that you select for DocuSign?
Yeah, again, a lot of influx of new people. Hypergrowth means that there's been a lot of organic growth of tools internally. We try and choose and drive the use of standards internally, but of course that is difficult. Inside DocuSign, we have 2 productivity suites. We have a good percentage of our users who are on Google G Suite, and then we have a good percentage of our users who are on the Office Suite. So what we try and do is drive the solutions that make things easy to use, but also allow us to drive the standards and meet the security and compliance initiatives that we're subject to.
That's great. And what are your key priorities in terms of security and compliance?
I think, yeah, to simply put it, to be as secure as possible, but also trying to strike the right balance between security and productivity, right? Of course, DocuSign's a trust brand. We take security incredibly seriously, but we also are a software company that's trying to innovate and drive new use cases as quickly as possible. So I think striking that balance is incredibly important to us to make sure that we do that as effectively as possible.
And I can imagine you're probably dealing with some sensitive information with legal contracts and whatnot.
Yeah, certainly DocuSign, again, being well known as an e-signature company, a lot of contracts, a lot of transactional data that's flowing through, a lot of PII is stored in this information, and of course we want to maintain as much security around that as possible.
Yep. And what were you using before you started using Box as your content platform?
Yeah, DocuSign's been a Box customer for about 5 years, a little over 5 years. Prior to that, what a lot of other folks were using, right? File servers distributed around our different offices, local connections, and the things that come along with that.
Yep. And so in terms of the Box for G Suite integration, can you talk a bit about how this new integration is going to kind of help solve some challenges, help kind of add value to your employees in the tools that they're using every day?
Yeah, like I said, I think we have about half of our organization that's running G Suite. The other half is using O365. I think one of the challenges that we've been a Box customer for about 5 years, but we've had great content management on the back end with Box, right? We've had the enterprise class security, administration, and content management tools that come along with Box. But of course, we haven't, until now, very recently, been able to apply those controls to the percentage of our user base that is running G Suite. So I think coming along with the G Suite connector now, what we'll be able to do is help drive and facilitate a standard content management backend where we can take those robust security, content management, administration controls that we've otherwise been able to employ with O365 and be able to leverage those with G Suite as well.
That's great. So what aspect of this new integration are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think that aspect that we just sort of just talked about, right? Which is that ability from us from internal enterprise applications, IT perspective, right, to be able to maintain the visibility and the governance around the significant amount of content that's originated and maintained in G Suite, as well as being able to apply those same things, of course, to O365, but giving us that single pane of glass, that single ability to drive that governance from the IT perspective versus having to maintain two distinct silos where we've had to do that in the past.
Yep. And I know that you're a cloud-first company. Are you using other cloud tools? Are your employees using other cloud tools in their day-to-day today to get their work done that you've integrated Box with or that you're looking to? Yeah,
we have. Of course, we are a cloud-first company. And I think probably the best example of that is Salesforce is a good workplace tool, right, that's used broadly across the organization, integrates with Box, and again, gives us a way to start driving better standard content management behavior, content management governance, through the back end.
That's great. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with how the Salesforce integration works with Box, it essentially brings Box directly into Salesforce. So your sales reps can easily access all of their files and folders directly from the opportunity or record. So with that, I'd love to open it up to the audience. So stay tuned for live Q&A for questions for either me or John. We'll be back in less than a minute. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Before we go into the audience questions, I want to just provide some information on how to contact Box if you have additional questions. Just a quick email address you can email us at with any questions is sales@box.com. If you're interested in the beta of the Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides integration, the public beta is available to anyone today. You can go to this URL that's listed here, box.com/partner/Google, and there will be a link with instructions for how you can enable this beta. And then this will be generally available to the public by end of year. So we hope that you are excited to use this integration, and I also want to highlight that the Box for Gmail add-on that I reviewed as well will be available generally to the public by end of year. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and take our first question. Are Google Docs created on Box accessible outside Box via Google Drive, docs.google.com, etc.? So no, that's the great thing about this integration is that any docs that are created in Box are going to be managed and secured in Box. They won't be accessible from any other place, and this is so that IT, I'm sure John recognizes the importance of this, and he talked about it, can kind of centrally manage everything in one place. There's a question for John, which is, you said you were using on-premise content solutions before. How did you centralize all of that onto Box?
Yeah, it was not a quick exercise. It's definitely not the flip of a switch. It's more the turn of a knob over time. And what we did is we just bit it off in small chunks, right? I think one of the first things we did is we make sure everybody is aware, and communicate out, what we're doing, why we're doing it, what the benefits and impact to the organization are by making this move from an on-prem storage solution to the cloud. And then, of course, we look for champions around the organization, right? As we start to deploy this, we find and target good use cases for this. For us internally, as an example, our marketing organization did a lot of interaction with external agencies. So having a content management system where they could collaborate internally relatively simply, easily, quickly across platforms was great. But then, of course, you have a lot of input and feedback from your external agencies. So again, targeting a good use case, getting some early quick wins with it to build some momentum with it, and then just staying adamant, right, almost about the progression of rolling this out and then turning down and rolling off of those file servers. I think overall, over the course of the execution, we moved about a little over 40 terabytes worth of data into Box.
That's great. And that's actually, you touched upon something that comes up a lot with customers who've selected Box, is that with their previous content platforms, it's not so easy to share files externally. So as an example, some customers who might be using the Office suite, they have to toggle between OneDrive and SharePoint. They have to use SharePoint for external sharing, OneDrive for internal sharing. So that's great that you highlighted that. And then the other thing you noted, which also comes up a lot, is kind of that the need for change management and to provide training to your employees to drive adoption of these tools. I think Box is very user-friendly, as is DocuSign, as is G Suite, but it's important to have those early wins as well to share with your employees.
Totally agree.
So another question that came in, does this integration require a Google account? That's a great question. This integration is available to customers with paid G Suite accounts. So as long as you have a paid G Suite account, you're eligible to use this integration, and it's completely free. Can multiple users simultaneously edit a single document? Yes, absolutely. That's one of the great benefits of G Suite, enabling that real-time collaboration. And so they can edit it, they can resolve comments, with all changes saved into Box. Which Google editors are included? Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. And as I mentioned and showed in the demo, you can actually convert Office files into G Suite files, and any edits will be saved back into the original file format. And then someone is asking about how to access the public beta. So the public beta, if you go to google.com/partners/Google. There'll be a link to be able to sign up for the beta, but it will be generally available to the public by end of year, which is great because anyone will be able to, if you're a Box admin, you can just enable it in your admin console. Those are all of the questions. Stay tuned for the next session, extending Google's Grab and Go program to your business. John, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.